I guess I'm kind of a dick because I wasn't expecting Guardians of the Galaxy to be any good, and it was pretty good, I have to admit. Stuck with the same quality as all the Marvel films. I was thinking it's kind of nice that Marvel's actually taking these risks, but at the same time, you know, they have to develop all these properties if they want to bring in maximum amounts of cash. And so, you know, I'm sure Disney's happy to have a raccoon in a tree that they can promote. But that being said, it's a cool raccoon and it's a cool tree, you know? That's my second point here, is that I think the whole movie, the plot didn't really freaking matter. You know, the MacGuffin they're fighting over didn't really matter. The only cool thing was the characters, and they had some cool-ass characters. And I'm not talking about Star-Lord. You know, he's kind of like the human tie-in. And he's not that bad, but Groot and Rocket Raccoon are like the best characters. I didn't think I'd like the Rocket at all, or whatever, the raccoon. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was freaking cool. I thought he was funny. You know, they played up that he had been, you know, experimented on some of the stuff. So built up his character a little bit. You know, obviously short man syndrome type thing, that he was like a sort of like a species, an oddity. I thought that was cool. And Groot kind of reminded me of sort of like some sort of Guillermo del Toro creation. Actually, I thought of Hellboy 2, that tree elemental or whatever from Hellboy 2. But yeah, Groot was freaking cool as hell. His little character arc in the movie is pretty badass. Awesome special effects. I hope they didn't pay, what's his face, Vin Diesel too much, because when you hear his dialogue, it's pretty minimal. I think Vin Diesel was probably just brought on, you know, it was what any voice actor could do. Vin Diesel was probably brought on to Twitter the hell out of this fucking movie. I'm assuming it worked because it looks like the movie's going to make a lot of money. But yeah, I think it should. And also that takes me to my third point. Ronan the Accuser, pretty badass bad guy. I love the way they depicted him, the way he arrived in the movie, the way he was shown. They kind of pieced together his costume at the beginning of the movie. It's freaking awesome. He's great. His hammer, all that shit. I'm not familiar with any of these characters like I am the other Marvel characters, but the depiction of him, the costuming was freaking awesome. I didn't like the way his character, you know, ended at the end of the movie, so to speak. But, I mean, you can't have everything. I liked Ronan, though. He was a badass space villain. Looked cool as hell. They had kind of like this muck on his face that they showed him putting on. And then it looked sort of just like chunky, so there was a reason for it to look chunky. And that kind of takes me to my other thing. Just the visuals in this movie were freaking awesome. I mean, the color palette, at one point there was like this bright yellow liquid. And then you have all these, you know, one Gamora's green. And then you have all these other pink-like women and pink men and, you know, obviously humans mixed in. And it was just very creative. I mean, you could tell Groot was like fake and, you know, CGI. You could tell the raccoon looked pretty freaking real. You could tell at some of the shots he looked CGI too. But overall, the special effects were, you know, some of the best ones I've seen. So Marvel really kept it high, I mean, on this one. Another quality film from Marvel. I didn't think I was going to like any of the characters. The soundtrack's actually pretty cool. They explain it in the movie. It's a big part of the movie. You know, originally in the trailer, the soundtrack was not making me happy. That takes me to my fifth point. Star-Lord. This is kind of where I'm going to get into the critiques a little bit. I had to come back and read about Star-Lord a little bit. You know, because this adventure takes place primarily in space, and I knew already that Star-Lord is supposed to be half human, half alien, but they don't really explain too much about the father and stuff. So watching the movie, I came back and I read a little bit more about, you know, his character, because in the movie he kind of like is able to survive in space a long time. And from reading about the character, his, you know, not only is he part alien, but he has like this mask that he wears that obviously allows him to breathe in space. And I would kind of just write it off, I guess, as nanotechnology, because I read in one of the things that his suit kind of gives him special powers. He's basically like super smart, you know, kind of witty, so he gets away with stuff. He's the comic relief also. I mean, there's a lot of comedy in this movie. Lloyd Kaufman has a cameo in this movie, which I thought was hilarious. James Gunn got to start at Troma, so, you know, the Lloyd Kaufman thing was kind of cool. And then I started thinking to myself, how long is it before Disney winds up buying Troma? I know that sounds completely stupid, but, you know, 20 years ago, I don't think anybody would have thought they bought Marvel either. You never know. When they need to make more money, they'll buy more properties, definitely. Don't trust Disney. My overall score for the movie is going to be 4 out of 5. Like I said, surprised me. I loved Rocket. He was hilarious. Groot was cool. Drax, pretty cool. I mean, it's a lot of colorful characters. A fun, colorful movie. They had the, you know, one problem as usual. The sort of drone-type bad guys. That's one thing I always complain about the Marvel movies. You had the aliens and Avengers, you had the evil space owls in Thor. You know, the next Avenger movies is going to be Ultron robots. This movie had the Necro, whatever. They're like Kree soldiers. They were kind of cool looking, though, actually. I like the entire Kree spaceship thing. That looked all freaking cool. So, yeah, 4 out of 5. right up there with the rest of the quality Marvel movies. And I'm actually liking this phase 2 of Marvel better, I think, than I liked the first phase, which is kind of cool because it's a lot of characters I didn't know anything about. The first phase, I knew about Iron Man. You know, I knew a little bit more about Thor, Captain America a little bit. But these characters I don't know anything about, and it's fun kind of just watching the movies and not knowing anything about them, having nothing to compare, and just seeing them, you know, clean slate. And this movie was nice because it didn't tie in to any of really the other Marvel movies except the MacGuffin thing. It ties in, of course, to Thanos, and I think they showed the Cosmic Cube at one point, and of course Benicio del Toro's in this from the after credit scene in Thor. But yeah, they didn't have Sam Jackson running around talking shit in this movie. So overall, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a fun film. I think if you're gonna wait for the after credit scene, you gotta wait for it anyways and watch it. But it sucked. I don't think it was worth it at all. I don't like that character, so no big deal. Watch it, sit it and watch it. I mean, if you like it, big fucking deal. I mean, I didn't think it pushed the universe any farther. To me, it just kind of is a waste of sitting there for 5 minutes. I know I sound like a dick for saying that. That's the old man in me, I guess. But yeah, Marvel movies Phase 2 or whatever this shit's called, I'm liking them pretty good. Winter Soldier, I thought I liked a little bit better. But I like this movie way better than I thought it would. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Go check out Guardians of the Galaxy. It's fun for the whole family. I went with my daughter. So all right, guys, see you soon. Bye.